Good evening, I'm Ian Hanomansing. Tonight, provinces share anxiety on vaccine supply, but their rollout plans diverge.
They should be knocking on doors right now and saying, "Can I help you?"
What it means for seniors and frontline workers. Reactions to the speedy and secret trial of Michael Spavor.
Right now, they're pawns in this bigger geopolitical confrontation.
Arsenault Toole lays out his vision for party and country.
The courage to grow, to be bold, to change.
Rosemary looks at how he did. And the personal costs of a year-long U.S. border shutdown.
The business has slowed right down. I think it's been really hard to loan some time for a lot of people.
Real-life struggles and successes. This is The National. No matter where you live in Canada, when it comes to the COVID-19 vaccine, the goal of every province and territory is the same: to get as many shots in as many arms as fast as possible. But as we've seen throughout this pandemic, different regions are responding differently. In some, age is still the key deciding factor for the general public, but others, like BC and Quebec, are now also zeroing in on other specific groups to try to stop transmission. We'll head there in a moment, but let's start with Magda Gabrisalasa in Ontario, where vaccine eligibility is expanding as cases spike.
On a day when new COVID cases climbed past 1,700, long lines shot up outside Toronto drugstores stocked with the AstraZeneca vaccine. A quick reaction to news that the eligibility at pharmacies has expanded.
This is what we all have to do because we're over 64. And I think they should have done it more eloquently.
For those going through the provincial booking system, it's age 75 and up as of Monday. That's 2 weeks early.
We have noticed that the number of people over 80 have declined in booking the appointments.
In fact, hundreds of thousands of appointments available to that group have gone unfilled. So far, just over 51% of that population has received at least one shot as of this morning.
The fact that they're not signing up for the vaccine and rates are going up and the risk goes up every day, it is extremely concerning.
It's not that they don't want to sign up, it's that they don't know how, says this advocate. She's calling on government officials to help.
They should be knocking on doors right now and saying, "Can I help you? Fill out this piece of paper. I'll take it back to my office and get somebody to book you an appointment."
Her organization of volunteers is helping, even driving people to appointments. Others are calling for more mobile clinics.
We can get more residents vaccinated if the vaccines are brought to them, rather than leaving the responsibility to the residents to get to these very select sites.
Which is why, she says, so many appointments remain unfilled. So there's been criticism that things aren't moving fast enough, but vaccines are being given. 1.4 million doses have been administered in Ontario, including at vaccination clinics like the one behind me, Ian.
And Magda, today the province also announcing it's easing some restrictions in the so-called gray lockdown zones, and that has implications for the restaurant business.
Absolutely, especially for the ones in Toronto and Peel region, and that is because these areas have been under lockdown since November 23rd. So we're talking almost 4 months that outdoor dining has been completely ruled out. Indoor dining, of course, ruled out much before that. But now, as of Monday, things are changing a little bit. Outdoor dining is possible again with some limitations. And we have heard from health experts that, of course, activities outside are, much safer, but the cases continue to rise.
All right, Magda, thank you. In Quebec, anyone 65 or older is now eligible for a COVID shot, and the government is hoping businesses will help when doses really start to flood in.
The public health system needs this assistance, and I think we will deliver something incredible in the next few weeks.
The province is looking for somewhere between 20 and 50 companies to volunteer their staff and facilities to help vaccinate 500,000 people starting in May. Meanwhile, a targeted vaccine campaign aimed at controlling a COVID variant in 2 Montreal neighborhoods is expanding. Initially, only parents of school and daycare-aged kids in Côte-Saint-Luc and the Snowden area were eligible. Teachers are now also on the list. They're on another list, too, here in BC. Some of the frontline workers that province is now planning to vaccinate in a new targeted campaign. And this comes as cases are rising, today hitting 737. That is the second highest daily count since early January. Susanna De Silva has the details.
Sorting the mini cucumbers used to be even more of a group effort.
This used to be a large rectangular table with 10 to 15 workers. However, once the pandemic hit, we realized that it doesn't work anymore. So what we decided is to create these little tables where each worker has their little individual space.
But not every part of this large operation could be adjusted so easily.
This line is one of the examples where plexiglass was not possible to implement. Unfortunately, some of the workers had to interact with each other, passing product.
Which is why the close to 200 employees here will be getting vaccinated next week. BC will still prioritize by age group, but will now add an additional cohort, essential workers, starting at food processing facilities like this and large work camps.
I cried when I heard the news.
The program will soon move on to other professions, including teachers.
Teachers have been working under incredibly difficult and stressful circumstances.
First responders and grocery workers will also be added. Around 320,000 doses will be distributed through mobile clinics and pharmacies, which so far have not been used in BC to distribute COVID vaccines. But some, like bus drivers, are frustrated they didn't make the list.
They are in very close proximity, about even 2 feet away from us. It is a threat for our members.
Health officials have said tough choices had to be made, and this modeler thinks it makes sense to target these groups even over some older populations.
We have the chance to use these vaccines strategically to prevent not just one outcome in one person, but to prevent 20 outcomes in 20 people by protecting a whole chain of transmission.
Something many of the workers living on and off site here are grateful for.
All the workers that live all over the lower mainland are going to be safer, which means that the people around them are going to be safer as well.
The hope is to cover all of these groups in April and May. Susanna De Silva, CBC News, Vancouver.
First Nation communities in northern Manitoba will get support in their vaccine rollout from the Canadian military.
The armed forces are currently doing detailed planning of the deployment for up to 23 communities in northern Manitoba.
The Prime Minister didn't say exactly where they'd be deployed or when, but did stress the focus will be on helping especially remote communities. Nova Scotia is lifting some of its border restrictions.
Effective at 8 a.m. Saturday, New Brunswick residents coming to Nova Scotia will not have to self-isolate. And Nova Scotians who travel to New Brunswick when they return home will no longer have to self-isolate.
New Brunswick hasn't made the same change, so anyone crossing from Nova Scotia will still need to quarantine. Nova Scotia also expanded household gathering limits today and extended business hours for restaurants in the province. At the Conservative Party of Canada convention today, Erin O'Toole was center stage, the leader outlining his vision and his goals. The question now, as Catherine Cullen explains, is whether the party will follow.
Canada has changed. Our party has to change too.
Erin O'Toole offered a deal to Conservatives, what he says is a path to victory if party members follow him.
We need to be a Conservative Party with the courage to be bold, and the Conservative Party with the courage to change, to meet this extraordinary moment and change, to change our approach.
The man who ran for the leadership as a true blue conservative,
the country needs a strong Conservative Party,
said today the old ways no longer work.
We have lost 2 elections in 5.5 years.
Status quo hasn't been working for O'Toole either. His poll numbers have been stagnant. MPs have grumbled about his leadership, anxious for a plan. Tonight, he gave them one, a blueprint for an election fight.
A comprehensive jobs plan to recover the millions of jobs lost during the pandemic within 1 year. Accountability and transparency laws, a Canada mental health action plan, strengthen domestic production of PPE, getting the budget back to balance over the next decade.
But on the same day, party members debated whether they agree climate change is real.
Not sure why the Conservative Party needs to specify that climate change is real.
O'Toole dodged the question of how he would fight it.
To those who are expecting a dramatic moment, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed.
No Justin Trudeau-style carbon tax, he says. Beyond that, stay tuned for a plan.
It will be comprehensive and it will be serious.
He also made a direct appeal to earn voters' trust, saying for people to put up a Conservative lawn sign with pride, the party needs to show it's inclusive.
You are welcome in our party. In fact, we need your help.
The question now, can this leader grow his following? Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Ottawa.
So some high stakes for Erin O'Toole. Our chief political correspondent, Rosemary Barton, was watching. And Rosemary, what's your assessment on how he did?
Well, you know, one of the big things that Erin O'Toole had to do tonight was to try and convince more people to vote for the Conservatives. And he did acknowledge that as his biggest challenge, that the party has to change, it needs to grow, and to get people who would not have considered it in the past to now start thinking about it. And he made that appeal really bluntly to union members, to Quebecers, to diverse people, whether it be racial, sexual, or religious diversity. The question, though, remains, how does he bring all those new people into the party, if he succeeds, without alienating the people who are already in there?
And so let's talk a little bit about the challenges that he faces as leader.
There's political risk in what he did tonight, right? Is the Conservative Party ready for this? For instance, Erin O'Toole may not want a carbon tax, but he says he wants a serious climate plan. What does that look like? How does it line up with Conservative Party values? How will that resonate in Western Canada, where the base is? Is he, as some Conservatives have suggested over the past number of weeks to me, Ian, moving too close to the middle of the political spectrum? Listen, there were policy ideas tonight, but they were broad. They were not specific. The specifics are going to be pretty important going forward, but this could be an important moment for O'Toole to try and turn things around, but depending largely first on how it is received inside the party.
Always nice to have you on the show, Rosemary, and see you on News Network on Sunday.
Thanks, Ian. Appreciate it.
The Prime Minister lashed out at China today over its treatment of 2 detained Canadians. Michael Spavor's trial ending today, Michael Kovrig's days away. David Cochrane has the latest on what we know about the process and the politics fueling it.
After 830 days in a Chinese prison, Michael Spavor was whisked into court for trial. No media or public allowed. Canadian diplomats also denied entry.
We're unable to have access to the courtroom. We were also unable to have access to Michael Spavor himself before the trial.
They couldn't get in, but they weren't alone. Diplomats from 8 countries showed up, seeking access and to show support.
He saw us. The lawyer said he saw us.
China defended the secrecy because the charges involve national security, an excuse Canada rejects.
Their arbitrary detention is completely unacceptable, as is the lack of transparency around these court proceedings.
Spavor and Michael Kovrig were arrested a week after Canada detained Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou to face extradition to the United States. Meng's court hearings are open to the public, covered widely by media. She is under house arrest in her Vancouver mansion.
We will continue to advocate for the release of these 2 Michaels.
Canada is relying on allies to press its case, like the U.S. did at this meeting in Alaska. But China isn't budging, Meng remains in custody, and Spavor and Kovrig seem no closer to release.
But I don't think that's going to happen. Right now, they're pawns, as you said, in this bigger geopolitical confrontation that starts with China and the United States.
So after 2 years in custody, Spavor's trial lasted just 2 hours. He left without a verdict. There's no sense of when it will come. No verdict, but no suspense. Conviction rates in China are more than 99%. Michael Spavor's trial is over. Michael Kovrig's is set to begin on Monday. David Cochrane, CBC News, Ottawa.
And those U.S.-China talks David mentioned are now over. And if things were heated yesterday, they wrapped up on an icy note today with no joint statement.
How did the talks go? Gentlemen, do you regret coming to Alaska?
We certainly know and knew going in that there are a number of areas where we are fundamentally at odds.
We will go back to Washington
to take stock of where we are.
The issues raised by the U.S. included China's treatment of Muslim Uyghurs and its aggressive actions in Hong Kong and Tibet. But Chinese delegates pushed back, saying the U.S. was in no moral position to lecture. Still, both sides say they do share some common interests. President Biden was in Atlanta today in the wake of a mass shooting spree that left 8 people dead, including 6 women of Asian descent.
Too many Asian Americans have been walking up and down the streets and worrying, waking up each morning the past year feeling their safety and the safety of their loved ones are at stake. Hate can have no safe harbor in America. It must stop.
The shooter's motive is still being investigated. Prior to the remarks, both Biden and the Vice President, Harris, met with Asian American leaders. And former U.S. President Donald Trump's Palm Beach club, Mar-a-Lago, has been partially closed because of a COVID outbreak. Its extent is unclear, but some staff members are said to have tested positive. Others are in quarantine. No word on Trump's health status. Europe is being slammed by a third wave of COVID at a time when there has been lots of confusion about the AstraZeneca vaccine. Well, today some leaders fought back, supporting the vaccine, as Renee Filipponi shows us, by getting it themselves.
In an effort to clear up any concern over the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, the French Prime Minister Jean Castex rolled up his sleeve today. I absolutely did not feel a thing, he said, amid growing concerns of vaccine hesitancy in his country. France and a number of other European nations suspended the AstraZeneca dose for days over blood clot concerns. Yesterday, the European regulator said there was no evidence it's connected. I was always thinking that the vaccine was safe, says this man, who believes others are just in a panic. The race to get people vaccinated is urgent right across the continent as COVID rates soar. Large parts of France, including Paris, are headed into another lockdown. Hospitals are under pressure, with more people in ICU beds right now than during the second wave. We are not at the breaking point yet, says this doctor, but we are coming very close. It's a similar situation in Germany, where COVID numbers have spiked to levels not seen in months. In Europe, there are not enough vaccines to stop the third wave, says the German health minister, who is now looking to the Russian vaccine as a possibility.
We are in the crisis of the century.
Earlier this week, the EU made another threat to block vaccine exports unless it gets its fair share. This supply chain expert says European-made vaccines are being sent to dozens of other countries, including the UK, a global vaccination leader.
There is an element of the nationalism and protectionism creeping in across the world with regards to trying to do the right thing by their populations.
Populations who have pinned their hopes on the vaccine and are growing tired of restrictions on their lives. Renee Filipponi, CBC News, London.
Let's turn now to Brazil, where a grim record was set today. The country reporting more than 90,000 new cases in the past 24 hours, the highest it's ever seen. Brazil also recording 2,800 new deaths. With more than 2,000 people dying nearly every day this week, the pandemic there has entered its deadliest phase. But as Ellen Morrow tells us, the government is still downplaying the catastrophe.
The agony of loss to a pandemic out of control. So many families broken. Their cries of mourning hanging over sprawling makeshift cemeteries. More than 280,000 Brazilian lives lost already, a toll second only to the U.S., the country now enduring the pandemic's deadliest days so far. We think about the families that are suffering, this doctor says. It's unbelievable. As cases spike, the country's hospitals are on the brink of collapse. ICUs full, supplies running out, doctors struggling. Patients are arriving quickly, says the head of intensive care at a Sao Paulo hospital. We are unable to cope. The devastating surge being fueled by the more contagious P1 variant first discovered in the country, being made worse by inaction from Brazil's president. Despite a recent rare appearance in a mask, Jair Bolsonaro has repeatedly downplayed the pandemic, once dismissing it as a little flu.
The president likes to say the pandemic is like the rain. Some people will get wet and there's nothing we can do about it. And as a consequence, I think a lot of Brazilians are still underestimating the real risk.
Brazil's suffering may portend a new global threat. Uncontrolled spread there, creating a potential breeding ground for even more dangerous variants.
We will put the entire world at risk.
This epidemiologist says more vaccine should be sent to Brazil urgently. If not,
it is possible that in some days or weeks, there will be a new variant that will be more lethal, that will be resistant to existing vaccines.
A chilling specter as Brazilians suffer so much death with seemingly so much more to come. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Washington.
The Canada-U.S. border will remain closed for at least another month.
I miss my husband terribly, and he misses us terribly.
Ahead on The National, what the closure has meant for separated families and communities.
There's Mom.
And a warning about aggressive urban wildlife attacking people and their pets.
At that point, that cougar's like 3.5 feet above you.
And why digital art like this is selling for big bucks.
It doubled in value already, and I think it kind of looks like me.
Is it a fad or the future? We're back in 2. These are some of the first images being shared of a volcanic eruption in Iceland tonight. It occurred about 30 kilometers from the capital, Reykjavik. And it comes after thousands of small earthquakes were recorded in the region in recent weeks. Photos show the eruption lighting up the night sky. Officials say it doesn't pose an immediate danger to people in the area. In and around Vancouver lately, there's been an unusual number of close encounters with wildlife. In some cases, a little too close. After being linked to several attacks on dogs, 2 cougars were captured and euthanized last night. Briar Stewart now on what conservation officers see as a disturbing trend.
This was the response as officers moved in Thursday evening after an unprovoked attack. The assailant, a cougar, who lunged out of a hedge while Isaac Heisler was walking his puppy.
You know, while I was pulling on the leash, I fell backwards on my back. And, you know, at that point, that cougar's like 3 feet, 3.5 feet above you. It could have easily came after me and I could have been dragged in the woods.
His dog was one of 2 pets killed last week by increasingly aggressive cougars in the area.
There's a lot of fear in the community.
The mayor of Anmore, a village about 20 kilometers east of Vancouver, says people are being encouraged to take precautions, including carrying bear spray.
When you have an animal getting attacked that is attached to a human through a 4-foot leash, and I think that something needs to be done.
There's Mom.
While the large cats normally prey on deer and avoid humans, a few have become aggressive. Conservation officers aren't sure what's driving the behavior, but note with warmer weather and the pandemic, more people are spending time outside.
Well, this community is heavily forested and nestled up against the mountains. Human-wildlife conflict is also an issue right now in a much more urban area.
Vancouver's famed Stanley Park, a destination for locals and tourists, but also home to about a dozen coyotes. They too have recently become aggressive.
I just felt a little pinch on my leg and turned around and realized I'd been bit by a coyote.
Brandon Kirk is one of 15 people bitten in the park since December. At the time, he was running along the seawall with a group.
I tried to scare it away and it wasn't afraid of me at all.
And experts say that's the problem.
A lot of it stems back to, not allowing wildlife to be comfortable near us, making sure that they maintain that wariness and never feeding them.
Even a squirrel coming up behind me the other day, it scared me.
As for Heisler and his family, they're still traumatized and worry that a cougar who successfully seized pets could decide to go after a child. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Anmore, BC.
When we come back, the personal stories of a year-long border closure.
I miss my husband terribly.
Canadians tell us how their lives changed and when they hope it will change back. And later.
Did you have any second thoughts about coming today because of the weather? Nope.
No snowstorm will deny these seniors their vaccination moments. It is always a London crowd pleaser, but with COVID restrictions, that's a problem. So for the second year in a row, the Queen's official birthday parade will not go ahead in its traditional form. Also known as Trooping the Colour, royal officials are now considering a smaller version at Windsor Castle. This weekend marks 1 year since the Canada-U.S. border was closed to non-essential travel. One very long year for the couple you're about to meet, and frustrating, as they're left wondering what the plan is for reopening and when that might be. Katie Simpson introduces us.
The last time Sam Rylersdam spent quality time with his family, he savored every moment, like the first solid food for baby Finn, and just regular old goofing around. This was Christmas, one of the family's rare get-togethers. They have been separated for most of the past year because of COVID border restrictions.
We knew with having a baby that it wouldn't be ideal, being in different countries, but we knew we could make it work. We didn't obviously plan on the border ever being shut down.
Sam is an American, a medic in the National Guard living in Washington State. Katie is a Canadian, a hairstylist living in British Columbia. They're also part of an advocacy group urging Ottawa to extend essential travel status to immediate family members.
I mean, the Canadian government has allowed the exemption of, family being allowed to come over, but who can take 2 weeks off work for quarantine and then time on top of that to visit? It's just not doable.
So across that border.
As of now, there are no plans in the works for that to change.
I think we're all going to wait patiently until such a time as the health situation allows us to loosen border restrictions internationally.
After a year, border restrictions remain consistently popular in Canada, even as there have been some headaches. This auto sector leader says rules need to be enforced more consistently after some essential auto workers were ordered to quarantine when returning to Canada.
We expect that we're going to see some substantive clarification in days, and that's very hopeful.
Reed is less hopeful about her situation.
I'm going to get emotional. I miss my husband terribly, and he misses us terribly.
Right now, there's no specific timeline or plan in place to ease restrictions. It remains wait and see. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.
Well, for more on what this year-long border closure has meant, let's connect with two people who live right on the border. Jane McIntyre is in Stansted, Quebec, southeast of Montreal, and she's the owner of Jane's Cafe, which is on the other side in Derby Line, Vermont. And Kaylin Ball is a Canadian who lives in South Surrey, British Columbia. That's next to the U.S. border and Peace Arch Park. Jane, let's start with you. What's it been like for your cafe since the border closed?
It's been much slower, but the business has slowed right down because we're missing our regulars who came in, from the Canadian side, as well as people traveling north, going into Canada for vacations or long weekends, heading for Quebec City or Montreal. So, business has really slowed down.
You're a dual citizen, Jane. What is it like going across the border, which you do, I guess, 5 days a week?
Well, I've always lived in this area, and so it's just a natural thing to have to cross the border almost every time I go anywhere. It's an easy process, a little bit easier, actually, because sometimes in the summer you get lots of traffic, and there's never a line anymore because only people working on the other side can actually cross.
Now, Kaylin, some viewers may remember when I interviewed you a few months ago about that quirky little exception to the border closure, which is going on at Peace Arch Park, so Canadians and Americans can meet and then return home. And you recorded some video of the park earlier today.
Today is a pretty tame day here at the park due to how windy it is. There's only a few tents here, but typically on a sunny day it gets very, very crowded.
So your fiance lives in Baltimore. You guys got together there in the park in the summertime. But tell us how important it's been for people to be able to gather at Peace Arch Park.
Well, after a whole year of border closures, some families have had only this as a way to see each other. So many families, it's been the only way for them to see their spouse or see their children. So I think it's really, we're fortunate to have this little ray of sunshine.
And when I was down there, I saw not only couples, but also families picnicking. Tell me about some of the scenes you've seen, Kaylin.
Recently I happen to know a couple who were able to, they have a 9-month-old child together. They were able to see them for the first time, that wasn't over FaceTime or video call. There's been people who have started relationships over COVID who have been able to meet for the first time. So there's some really special moments that happen at the park.
Given where your communities are, and Jane, I'll start with you on this, what impact has this border closure had on the community of Stansted?
I think it's been really hard. It's a lonesome time for a lot of people with family on both sides, people who haven't seen their kids in months, kids, parents, relatives, friends. We actually have a spot on the border here that people meet. They can't touch, they can't really get together, but they can sit in their lawn chairs in the summer across the way and see each other, at least beside the Haskell Opera House and Library. And a lot of people have done that. We've actually had a couple of weddings there this past summer. So they find ways, but it's difficult.
And Kaylin, Peace Arch Park aside, what has the impact been in your community in South Surrey?
Well, I've seen a lot of businesses that are struggling as well from the lack of, travel across the border. But also in my own life, there's a lot of people struggling with mental health and isolation, and especially even for people like me who are in a cross-border relationship. So there's been a lot of struggles. As well, our local neighborhood has seen a lot of increase in traffic due to the park.
I have some people on Twitter, when they thought the border should reopen, got a lot of responses, a lot of strong feelings. Want to give you a couple of samples. Teresa McKenzie said, until at least 50% of the population is vaccinated, I think we need to keep it closed and follow the science and experts. And let's go to another tweet. David Kidd said maybe September, once rates are vanishingly low and stable on both sides of the border. Jane, when do you think the border should reopen?
I've had my fingers crossed that we'll be able to get back to some kind of normal times this summer, maybe by July. People have been complying really well with mask wearing and being careful in this area. So I don't know. I think we're just going to have to wait and see how many people are vaccinated, how the vaccination rollouts go, and hopefully it won't be too much longer.
And Kaylin, what are you hoping for in terms of the border reopening?
Well, I'm hopeful we'll be able to see drops in cases so that we can be able to see each other safely on a more normal basis. It's hard to say when I think it's going to happen. It does depend on what the experts say. I'm hoping as well for maybe this summer to be able to do something cross-border, but we'll have to see what the science says.
And Kaylin, let's end on an optimistic note. One thing you do know is that your fiance in Baltimore is heading to Washington State, and you guys are going to meet at the park.
Yes, we are, for the first time in 6 months, and we're fortunate that we both live alone, so we're able to meet safely. And we're looking forward to seeing him. It's going to be 6 days.
Yeah, I'll bet you are. Kaylin, Jane, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, anger over a former Nazi interpreter fighting to remain in Canada.
It's not about an eye for eye. It's not about punishment. Justice just means that if someone has to be held accountable.
Reaction from a Jewish community still trying to rebuild. Welcome back. A longtime resident of Canada who once worked as an interpreter for a Nazi killing squad is asking a court to permanently stop deportation hearings against him. But beyond the legal proceedings launched this week by 97-year-old Helmut Oberlander are the relatives of those whose lives were cut short decades ago. Katie Nicholson looks at their anger, their memories, and their loss. And a warning, some of the images you'll see are disturbing.
In the glow of Rostov's evening light, you can see the horror of what happened here, etched in stone and in hearts.
Я стою, как будто вот как будто меня мои старики видят. Я вроде вот они мне как, я чувствую их, понимаете? Я чувствую их.
The green sloping ravine, a blanket covering the grave of 27,000 souls who died in a holocaust of bullets. Natalia Yefimushkina's grandparents were among them. She's haunted by visions of what happened.
Наверху, вот тут вот стояли, наверху. Они говорили по-немецки, собаки, и плач, а я вот там. Как будто я вот нахожусь в то время с ними.
During the Second World War, the Nazis deployed Einsatzgruppen, brutal mobile killing squads. They moved into newly conquered territory, rounded up the Jews who remained behind. Sometimes, using interpreters, they ordered them to strip, then killed them in a hail of bullets. In the summer of 1942, they came to Rostov.
You just can't help but cry. You look and you just realize this entire ravine was filled with bodies.
Canadian Rabbi Chaim Danziger was drawn here 12 years ago by the challenge of rebuilding the city's once robust Jewish life.
People are still hurting with what happened. We can't say that it happened, so long ago, and just let's turn a page. No.
Danziger is helping the community put a name to every life lost in the ravine. But in recent weeks, he's been helping them process news from his home country. An interpreter attached to the unit that brought death to Rostov, alive in Canada.
The thought that for me was shocking, I'm from Toronto, that an hour away from my home, someone who was here in Rostov and involved in the horrific, heinous crimes is living peacefully was something that I just very, very hard. And people come to me, they ask, what can I say? I don't know.
For those haunted by the past, it's a slap in the face.
И он спокойно живет, ему ничего не снится.
Helmut Oberlander was 17 when he began working as a Russian interpreter for Einsatzgruppen. In 1970, he claimed he was unaware of the unit's name or of some of its atrocities, telling German war crimes investigators, "I do not know anything about any executions of Jews in Rostov." His only memory of the city, guarding grain on a barge moored nearby. After the war, he married and built a new life for himself in Waterloo, Ontario. The successful developer was at his condo in Florida when in 1995 his past very publicly caught up with him amid allegations he may have committed war crimes. He was forced to leave the U.S. and never return. Back in Canada, his daughter Irene defended him.
He's completely innocent. He definitely didn't commit any war crimes, and he didn't misrepresent himself when he came into the country.
German investigators had no proof Oberlander took part in any killings. Ultimately, a Canadian federal commission decided, in view of the lack of evidence, no prosecution should be started against Helmut Oberlander. Instead, it recommended he be stripped of his Canadian citizenship on the basis of his failure to divulge his membership in the SS and the Einsatzgruppe. 4 times Oberlander's citizenship was revoked. 3 times it was overturned on appeal. And now, the 97-year-old's lawyer has filed a motion to permanently quash deportation. In Rostov, disbelief Oberlander didn't know what his unit was doing. Ina Rizhevskaya lost an aunt and a nephew here.
Это все ерунда. Я так считаю, что это все ерунда, что он придумывает. 17 лет он был переводчиком, а то, что они убивали людей и уничтожали, это он не знал. Это ерунда.
Grief lingers here.
Потому что вот это воспоминания, они никогда не уходят. Вот здесь внутри они никогда не проходят.
Maya Rosina lost her grandparents and 13-year-old aunt in the ravine. She, too, doesn't believe Oberlander's claims.
Это он не видел, да, слепой был. Ну, наверное, за это, наверное, тоже надо наказать. Но не депортировать, это не мера наказания.
What does justice mean? It's not about an eye for eye. It's not about punishment. Justice just means that if someone has to be held accountable.
For that, they look to Canada. Today, though, is about the future. A bar mitzvah. A sign a new and flourishing Jewish community is rising in Rostov. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Toronto.
Next, investing in a new digital trend.
It's doubled in value already, and I think it kind of looks like me.
Why some are spending millions of dollars on images like these. How much would you pay to own a piece of art that only exists digitally? Anyone could still see it for free. They could even make copies. You'd essentially be buying bragging rights. Well, it turns out some people are paying millions. Thomas Dagala looks at the boom of NFTs, non-fungible tokens.
Call it an art gallery of a different kind. This is how Sheldon Corey chooses his next virtual investment piece. He recently paid $20,000 US for ownership of that avatar.
It's doubled in value already, and I think it kind of looks like me.
Amid the pandemic, digital art has exploded in popularity, especially the use of non-fungible tokens, a certificate of singular ownership tied to blockchain technology, just like cryptocurrency.
You can monetize these pieces of artwork that were originally very hard to.
NFTs don't prevent users from copying art found online, but they do allow some creators to claim a share of the sale price anytime their work gets resold as NFTs, yes, even at auction. This piece by the artist known as Beeple doesn't exist in physical form, but the digital original sold for nearly $70 million US.
We're in this frenzy of speculation right now. So it's very difficult to know exactly what the size or scale of that market.
So it looks like finished.
Hopkins has already sold 3 pieces with NFTs, but more importantly, he says, as an Anishinaabe artist, the digital world has allowed him to connect with fellow Indigenous creators.
It's really nice, especially during this pandemic where I haven't had very much artistic contact recently.
There's no guarantee virtual tokens will remain valuable, and there's concern too about their environmental impact with so many machines needed to serve as the technology's backbone. But Sheldon Corey expects to be in the market for some time yet.
There may be some deflation, but I think long term it's here to stay.
He's even getting a physical recreation of that digital avatar to hang on the wall, like old and new forms of art coming full circle. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Toronto.
Okay, I don't fully understand it yet, I have to admit that. Next on The National, getting the shot in a snowstorm. Nothing will stop these Nova Scotia seniors from getting their vaccine. That's next in our moment. Well, you get a sense in Nova Scotia the length some folks will travel to get a vaccine. Seniors braving their way through a snowstorm. CBC's Colleen Jones was there to see them get their shot, and tonight it is our moment.
We could have booked later, but we're anxious to get it done as soon as possible. So I looked out the window and said, let's give her a go. I was determined to come today.
I went online and saw that there was appointments appeared on the web today that weren't there yesterday. So I thought, oh, okay, people have canceled because of the storm.
We're so thrilled because I didn't know when I was ever going to get in.
Got the shot.
Why was it so important to you to get the shot today?
Well, I don't want to get the disease.
Well, this weather, we were keen. We didn't want to miss it, that's for sure. It's well organized. Outside it wasn't too good.
It's just, we're in Nova Scotia and it's still winter. It was very exciting. The first one, yeah. Next one is in July. Unfortunately, it's long, but take it with when it comes.
I don't think you've got snow tires.
It's very important. I'm very thankful that my mother-in-law can get the vaccine today, so it was worth the trip for sure.
So that's the story of winter weather in Nova Scotia today, of resilience by all those seniors, but also a shout out for my longtime colleague, Colleen Jones. She has a knack for finding people's stories like that. And that is The National for March 19th. I hope you can join me on Sunday for Cross Country Checkup on CBC Radio and later here on The National. Good night.